I apologize. We're here now. You ain't hearing me on no replay or any of those sort of things, people. I hope everyone's well and safe. Um, where should we start, man? Where should we start? Where should we start? Let's actually start with William Saliba. Now, for me, William Saliba has had a very good loan spell. Out of 12 games, I think they've kept 8 clean sheets. I don't know about no one else, people. I don't know what anyone else sees. What I've seen, if I had to describe William Saliba's time, I'd give him a 7 so far. I think he's more often than not, he's had some quality games there. And I mainly focus on this in my loan reports and stuff, and I will. Didn't have nothing really to do of note against Lazio. When Marseille had 2 defeats prior to this game or the game before, he did kind of struggle in those 2 games. But against PSG, he did very well. I think in general, he showed what you know with Saliba. He showed his confidence playing out from the back. He showed his confidence on the ball in possession. He showed his leadership qualities. Not gonna lie, I think there's a lot of hysteria, and I get it. You know, he's kept a clean sheet. He's been part of a team, better yet, that has kept a clean sheet against Messi, Neymar, and obviously Kylian Mbappe. If VAR never had something to say, maybe they take all 3 points because Milik did score. But I think people over gassing the performance. You know, he had, you know, fantastic last ditch slide tackle that's going around socials, marked well, you know, defended well, headed fairly well, but sometimes some of his headers were quite unconvincing. And I've said that's an area, considering he's 6'4", he needs to improve in dramatically. In fact, there was an incident, he's headed it, and that's actually put Marseille under pressure. Messi's had an effort, and the keepers drew a good save. These are things I'd expect with a 20-year-old. We can't rush to draw conclusions. What I like from him on his loan spell at Marseille, getting more experience, getting more importance, as he's shown at Saint Etienne, as he showed at Nice. From the minute he goes to these teams, he showed his leadership qualities. He shows he's there to stand up, to be counted, and you can obviously see him geeing up teammates. He's a big game player. There's a lot he needs to improve on. As I keep saying, his agility. For someone who's 6'4" in the air as well, I know he's never going to be a goal scorer, but even from set pieces, he gets into good areas, and he doesn't always hit the target. But these are things you'd imagine with a 20-year-old. I think he needs to be in Arteta's plans next season. He's not going to be all the way there yet. There's going to be games for Marseille, which has happened, where he's dropped clangers. There's going to be games in the Premier League where he's dropped clangers, you know. Again, it's the Premier League's unforgiving. Look at Ben White. Everyone drew their conclusions over him against Brentford. Now everybody loves him against Villa. You know, all we need is Saliba to come back more experienced, more confident. You know, he's not going to be a fully polished player, but slightly more polished, and he's doing well. He's getting good experience in a team that's keeping clean sheets, that, you know, playing for a big team with big expectations, with big fans and stuff like that, playing in Europe, playing under someone like Sao Paulo, who's been there, done that, you know. And I think he's thriving, whether they're playing with a back 4 or a back 3, he's doing his thing, people. And I'm not going to lie, it weren't the most amazing of game. I wouldn't say they were under sustained pressure. I was actually quite disappointed from us, PSG, but Saliba left with his credibility intact. Like I said, that tackle was fantastic. He made 57 passes, has a passing accuracy of 96%, made 1 successful dribble, won 3 tackles, had 1 interception, 1 clearance, 1 aerial duel, and won 5 of his 6 ground duels. So I don't even think the statistics are being helpful to him. As I said, I do think people are over gassing the performance, and the headline doesn't quite match up with the performance. It weren't an amazing performance from anyone. It was a 0-0 draw where both teams could have done better. They kind of cancelled each other out. But being selfish and focusing on Saliba, there is a good grounding there, really. And again, he's still going to learn difficult lessons. He's not the most experienced. Has he played 100 career games yet? He must be closer to that. I'm actually going to check now. I'm pretty sure between his spells at Saint Etienne, obviously him playing for Marseille and Nice, I'm sure he doesn't have 100 appearances, and he's 20. He's going to be 21 when he returns next season. That's a good platform, but he's not going to be the finished article. He's made 12 appearances so far, 9 in the league, 3 in Europa, you know. And again, you look at his appearances, he still hasn't got 100 career appearances. So how can you expect certain competencies? 36 for Saint Etienne, 22 for Nice, and currently 12 for in all comps. This is for Marseille. My maths is poor. I'm not going to make an idiot of myself. I'm going to draw for the calculator. So 36 plus 22. Big up to everyone doing this mentally. Plus 12. That equals 70. So he's got about 30 games left before he's had 100 top flight appearances. The man's made 70 games. I know it's difficult when he's described as the killing Mbappe centre halves. We finally got a young French player with some sort of potential. He's done his thing. He's done all right. Again, I'm trying to scroll back to his last games. I think Lorient he could have done better for the goal they conceded. But I do think against Leo and Lens in the games before when they had 2 losses on the spin, he could have done much better. I'm sure Lens is the game, or between Lens and Leo, there's a game he's put his teammate under pressure and they've conceded a penalty. And there's games where he's following the man and not the ball. He needs to improve in terms of his marking. He needs to improve in terms of how you look, watch the ball and the man. He needs to know when to play, when to keep it simple, when to look over your shoulder, how to mark. There's a lot of tough lessons he's going to learn. But what I hope is that he comes back next season and he complicates things with Ben White and Gabriel. As I said, I hope Gabriel and Ben White have a blossoming partnership. For me, Gabriel's the top don. Saliba can play on the left-hand side. So that opens up Ben White and Saliba, 2 very good ball playing centre halves. I want to see Gabriel and Saliba. I want to see Ben White. I want to see all 3. So there's vital options where we have them in the squad. And considering we spent a fairly good outlay, we'd have our centre-back part defensive options sorted, and you couple them 3 together. I would say Tomiyasu, if we sign another right back, I'd still play him right back, but you might see more of an opportunity for him at centre half. Holding or a Chambers probably stays for homegrown reasons, but 2 of the 3 of Holding, Chambers and Marie, you'd imagine their days are numbered. So Saliba's going to have a good career. Hopefully it's at Arsenal. I hope we don't see that there's a profit to be made here. We've already made pennies on Matteo Guendouzi, but it is what it is. For me, the crucial thing was Saliba getting games. If we're of the belief where we need to give our game time to Ben White and Gabriel, who are still developing, and there's not too many games for Saliba, then fair play. But next season, what I hope is that he's given an opportunity, probably starts the season as third choice, but he complicates things. We're nowhere near Manchester City, but you look at Stones, Diaz, Laporte. Yeah, if they play a back 3, everyone can play, but someone's missing out. There's been times Stones has had to sit down, like this year. I'm not going to say Diaz, but there will come a time Diaz has made the spot his own. Obviously, there's Laporte there. You look at Liverpool, they've signed Canute, not really had a sniff. Had his opportunity against Liverpool. It might be him and Van Dijk, but you've got Matip, who's also been good. Joe Gomez in and among things. You need a squad, and I think many Arsenal fans, if you just look at the recent games we played in the league up until now, it highlights there's a squad. There's a need for a squad. There's been games where somebody's been a villain and then they've been a hero. Other players have needed to stand up and be counted. Like, Aubameyang off the left and a Lacazette, it seems the thing right now. There's going to be games that's not the thing, and games we sit there and say it's unbalanced. So for me, Saliba had a very good game. People are overdoing it a bit, but he kept a clean sheet against Messi, Neymar, and I was about to say Suarez, MSN, and then Kylian Mbappe had a good tackle. There's a lot of positives to work on, but what we shouldn't do is draw conclusions. He's still learning his tricks and the trades, and as a centre back or as a defender, the more experience you get, it can never be a bad thing. So every game is taking him closer for me to 100 league top flight appearances, and then obviously closer to being someone. But he's still got a lot of lessons. He's going to be 21. It feels like he's been around for a while, so let's just let him develop. That's all I've got to say about William Saliba there, man. Games are coming thick and fast. The whole squad's going to need to stand up to be counted. What are you lot saying? Please hit the like button, please, people. If I'm Ben White, I'm worried. He needs a good season because Saliba is breathing down his neck. Pressure's a privilege, and that's one thing that's kind of annoyed me about Arsenal, in that fans don't really see you need a squad. Fans don't really see that, you need to keep pressure on spots. And I mean, you need this if we want to be a big club, Odegaard, if you're not doing the business, Smith Rowe plays. Smith Rowe, you've got the 10. That's a target on your back. Saka, your number 7. Realistically, if we was a team with better options, Saka would probably struggle to get game time at this moment in time, if we're honest. We need these options. We need pressure. Too many times there's been complacency. If Ben White sees Saliba chomping at the bit, he might be out of it. Gabriel, the same. Saliba, when you get your opportunity, make sure you hold on to it. We need competition. And as I said, I hope Ben White and Gabriel off their own back, I hope they're developing and they become a competent partnership. But then I obviously want Saliba. Obviously injuries are part and parcel of the game. Even Ben White, he missed a couple of games, or a game, what was it, the City game, because of Corona. So we need to be able to have a certified squad. And for me, they all have resale value. I don't know for Ben White if you'll ever make your £50 million back, but if he develops and becomes that Arsenal in England regular like we believe, then you'd imagine you'd break even. Saliba, you must imagine that you're in a good opportunity or good position to make your peas back. And the same goes with Gabriel. I think Gabriel's going to be the best centre half at the club. I think he's got it all, if I'm honest with you. I think the others are very good ball players, but I think he's got the ball playing thing. And I actually feel Gabriel's ball playing, when again, when we focus on Ben White and Saliba, it's quite understated. And I think, pardon my language, he's a nasty bastard as well. And so I think Gabriel's the top dog at this club. I'm a big fan of Gabriel. I think he's a leader of this team and whatnot. I think the others, Ben White's going to have to show it. You spent 50 million on a man. I hope Saliba's given the opportunity to show such as well. But it is where that's concerned, folks. That's my opinions. Man said we need options like NSG. Trust me, we're all in love with that last ditch tackle. We might be going from holding Socrates, Luis to Gabriel White and Saliba. What an upgrade. Should play for us in a back three when he returns. There should be the option for it. This is why he needs time. Let Saliba become a beast so he's not starting from scratch when he comes back to us. Great decision for him to go out on loan. For me, it's all about the habits he's learning, because as a young defender, you have bad habits. Saliba has a lot of them. Overplays, doesn't look over his shoulder, sometimes plays with his head down, sometimes overplays. I'm not criticizing it. These are all things you'd imagine someone at his age has in this game. But it's about coaching out the bad habits. And when I look at us defensively, even though we had a quote-unquote good game against Aston Villa, our outlooks on defending isn't good. We've got bad habits. That goal that we conceded is a bad habit. That goal isn't too dissimilar from the goals we've conceded this season, whether we've won, lost, or drawn, or obviously if from last season. So it's about, for me, the habits. Saliba needs to be the whole team. It's about picking up good habits, unlearning the bad things. At Arsenal, I can't always say that's the case. Like, as much as I like Ben White and Gabriel's development, I can't say they've coached out their bad habits. Gabriel's getting there, but sometimes he does like to get a bit too tight. Ben White, there's a time and a place when to play. There was a fantastic run where he's run out from the back with the ball, but there was an incident in the second half. He's tried to do the same thing. He's missed the ball completely. These are all young centre halves that are going to make naive mistakes, that probably are going to struggle for consistency, that are, Saliba. I think I always go back to the game against Metz when he was at St Etienne or Nice, where he got torn apart. You need centre halves out of their comfort zone. Now, for Saliba to come out of it not getting destroyed, obviously is a confidence builder against PSG, because they're the games you look to. I'm not going to say because he keeps a clean sheet, he's going to be a messiah, or if he got destroyed, he's not going to be. But these are the games where you want to see certain levels. And, I can't lie, we'll get on to Mavropanos. I don't really feel Mavropanos is going to have a future or should have a future at Arsenal, has ever been good enough. But I look at Saliba and you can see, the big games Mavropanos has shown his level. Saliba has held his own, if I'm honest with you. So there's confidence to be built from. But saying that, Mavropanos is moving mad off his own back, if I'm honest with you. And on that topic, it sets us up nicely. Arsenal stand to make